Good evening, everyone. We are Group 23, and today we're gonna introduce our mini project, Telegram-based AI assistant powered by the agent skills. So in this, so before we go dive into our project, let's start with the problem statement. So our challenging is that as a PhD student or staff, we actually quite busy, and we are actually wants to basically do several tasks together. So the first one is we want to basically do a daily weather forecasting task, so that we can actually, before we go into our day, we will actually, so we can prepare based on the weather, to prepare our dressing or whatever. Should we bring umbrella before we start our day? And second of all, we're gonna plan our schedule, because as a PhD student or staff, we have a lot of meetings or lectures, lesson to go with, and it has so many items. So we want to basically schedule our day correctly while maintain the balance to do our basic needs, such as eating dinner or lunch. And lastly, we want to have a task which basically gonna send the paper summary, which is actually related to our field, so that we can keep up with the current research. Before that, we actually, if we want to do this, for each of those items, we have like weather app, or we have a schedule app, or we go to some paper digesting website to get this our daily basis. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna condense all those features into one app, and we're gonna talk with him, interact with them, just directly using the words. So how are we gonna do this? For the application scenario, we're gonna use the OpenClaw, which is a personal AI assistant, which can be integrated with the old mobile chat apps such as Telegram, WhatsApp, and WeChat, if you want. So basically, what we are trying to do here is that we wanna start with the human input, and through the Telegram app, it will go through the OpenClaw. OpenClaw will basically uses the agent skill to decide how we're gonna handle this user intent, and then it's gonna be some software actions, basically calling API, get the information, and then it will basically tells you what replies to the user with text prompt as well. So the NLP technique was involved in this application is that first is the function calling. So as we know that we're actually using a zero-shot cloud LLM to read user messages and choose a structured function call. The function call basically it is executable skills. So the LLM does not directly invent the answer. It will actually call some kind of API to fetch the information which might be on the internet, and then based on that information, it summarize and return the user output. So besides the function calling, why we are using this kind of like training-free agent skills? So for the agent skill, first of all, it basically does not really require the fine-tuning of an existing LLM, which is quite expensive. And secondly, it actually is quite reliable, because it directly using the skills that cause the real APIs, and real APIs can return more realistic and reasonable output, and it is an easy extension to add in OpenClaw. It's basically adding a new function scheme. Yeah. So what does our system overflow workflow looks like? It's basically a pipeline like combining the natural language understanding with external tools. So the URF interface is gonna be obviously the Telegram, and we're gonna use the two execution implemented by various skills. The brain is basically the cloud LLM. The final output is directly synthesized with the natural conversation and be sent back to the Telegram. So the skill that we're gonna talk about today is first is the daily weather forecasting. Second of all is like daily paper digesting, and the last one is the schedule. So so we have this kind of summary as the following. This is same as before. So let's start with the first demo. Gonna be the natural language schedule planning. So as the example, you can see that so each morning I basically send a message from the Telegram and tell them to schedule my day. So I will start telling him when I would like to start to work, and do I need to attend some kind of seminar or the lectures, and how much time I want to spend on my research, or how much percent on my personal project. And based on this input, it will give me actually a very detailed schedule, as you can see here. And then it's even considering the break that I'm gonna take for my lunch and dinner, and even add some breaks even before those kind of intensive tasks that I'm going to do. A second law is like the daily research paper digesting. So this one is actually it's kind of like a scheduled task. So it will every morning it will send me the most relevant paper that I assigned, because basically when I set this class, I already provide some kind of like keywords, so it can search the most relevant paper and send it to me with its like link and what is the main ideas, and basically the title and so on. And lastly, it's the conversational weather assistant. So this one I simply ask him, so every 7 a.m. just send me the weather report for today and tomorrow, and then what do you suggest for the dressing, and then so that I can prepare it myself every morning. So yeah, so for this project's impact, this application, so the evaluation is that we actually, for most of the requests, everything is done very nicely. However, for the schedule the day task, is actually sometimes it need some more fine tune, or you need to put some kind of information in the memory of the OpenClaw, because sometimes it schedule some very late dinner or lunchtime, which I don't like. So I just ask him to just remember that I will always have dinner from 5 to 7 and lunch from 12 to 1 p.m. So the real world value is it's definitely increase the efficiency, and it can be scaled into basically everyone. And the accessibility is also quite good because it's just like chat. And then another maintainability is that we can actually, for those kind of tasks, we can create like a subtopic for them so that it can actually help. So without further ado, and I think that's all, and then we're gonna quickly show the demo. So let me open my Telegram, which has been opened before. So for the schedule, let's see. So this is actually the real workflow that I had today. So I asked him today, I'm gonna schedule the day, I'm gonna do some seminar, and then we're gonna do some kind of work or whatever the things I'm gonna do. So actually, what you can do here is like you can update it, based on, if you don't like this schedule, you can always ask for an update. And even during the day, you can, in the afternoon, I ask him to update it again, and it gives me a updated schedule. Even now, I just did it, and it basically show me the rest of the activity for today. So that's all for the schedule. And the second one is so basically to recommend the video and paper that is related to our interest, which is AI safety. So you can see that this is quite relevant in our case. And then the last one we're gonna show is like the daily weathers. So here is that we're gonna. This is actually from today. So today, it tells me the weather, and tells me that it's gonna be 6 p.m. It's gonna be raining, so it's asked me to definitely to bring the umbrella, which is very helpful. And then here is another like tech news, which is also kind of similar to this task, which I'm not gonna explain in further detail. So that's all for our project. Thanks for your listening.